Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Three secrets to doubling your productivity, success, income, and personal happiness. And I know you must be thinking, not another podcast to tell me what to do and how to do it. But I also understand you want to have a happier existence. You want to live the life that you have chosen. And you absolutely want to know how to effectively do that cheaper, better, faster. And I'm here to tell you that in this podcast, I'm going to break it down to you how most of the successful people actually make most of their days and actually, do things that they love in the process while creating the lives that they absolutely enjoy. Now, obviously, as a coach, consultant, or small business owner, you would understand that we all have 24 hours in a day. Mark Zuckerberg has 24 hours in the day. Elon Musk has 24 hours in the day. Oprah Winfrey has 24 hours in the day. Whoever you respect in your industry also has 24 hours in the day. Yet, most of these people achieve so much more than we could ever think of. What are their secrets? Are they going to some sort of guru university that we are not privy to, or some elite, information center, or do they subscribe to the online prosperity experience that you may only have heard of today, or you've been a subscriber for life? I don't know where these people get all of this information from, but I kid you not, these people are always producing. They're always in the media. They're always being spoken about. They're always winning accolades. They're always being celebrated. And they're always looking happy and not a bag in sight under their eyes. You know? Now, for me to actually vouch for what this is actually happening, I've researched the best minds in the world, on personal productivity, including all the experts in psychology, creativity, goal setting, time management, and even personal happiness, which has a lot to do with how well you use your time. Because if you don't feel well, you can't do well. And I've amassed a wealth of fabulous tips that I use for myself. And that's the reason why, even if you question the validity of what I'm about to say, just hear the tone in my voice and the energy that is coming through those white headphones that you've got on there, or the fact that I'm constantly producing content like this day in, day out, and I'm relentless about it, is because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, people that have taken the time to study happiness, study productivity, study success and income and all the things, that make us whole. And let me tell you something. This wealth of fabulous tips, I have it all in my head, and that's the reason why I show up on this podcast, just so that I can pass on some of this information, whether you do anything with it, or you go away energized, or you, just surrender and give up on life. That is up to you. My role is to just show up and help you, have a happier existence, help you see the world in a totally different manner, give you the tools, strategies, and principles that you actually need to be the best version of who you are going to be. And I will be here till the end of time. So will you be. But for you to be able to enjoy the whole session, you need to make sure that you're productive, you're happy, and everything else is working on all cylinders. So today I'm just going to focus on just 3 of my favorites on how to harness your productivity and double your income and maybe, multiply what it is that you're doing right now without expending that much energy. And that's true. A lot of these people that we envy, they probably just get up, do one thing that they absolutely love, and then delegate the rest, to those people that are also working behind the scenes in order to make sure that their businesses are profitable and enjoyable. And the first thing that I learned, which completely blew my mind, was what's called the 80-20 rule. Now, the 80-20 rule changed everything in my life. And I read the book by Robert Koch, who basically came up with, he didn't come up with a Pareto principle, which basically says 80% of all our achievement, 80% of all our productivity, 80% of all our success, 80% of all our personal health, happiness, 80% of our health comes from just 20% of the things that we do. And that's the Pareto principle. So you might be thinking to yourself, yeah, I've heard of the Pareto principle. Let me go and listen to some crime podcast. Maybe I might get entertained. Well, that's for you. And that's how you have decided to spend your time. And you will notice that at any given moment, you know what I mean? As an entrepreneur, maybe marketing is maybe just one aspect of running a successful business, all right? You go from hiring and managing new staff, balancing books, driving growth, and a whole lot more of other things. And it actually all feels like it's all a balancing act. But if you notice that some of the things you can either outsource, some of the things you can get other people to do it on your behalf, or you don't necessarily need to be doing them in your business because you haven't actually figured out which things are giving me the most results in my business. Is it, emailing customers that, if you've got new products, is that generating more leads for me? Or doing a podcast like this, are people actually paying attention? What are you doing within your business that is yielding the most results? And I guarantee you, a lot of people haven't figured out that part yet. All right. So if you apply the 80-20 rule to everything that you're doing, you will be amazed in how much time you unlock throughout your whole day, how much effort you need to just put in order to get 100% of the results that you currently are having right now. You probably don't even need to show up on social media. You probably don't even need, to schmooze all those people at your networking event. When you realize what is the outcome of this activity, what am I doing? Am I doing what I need to be doing in order for me to get to my goals? My God, that thing will definitely liberate you from doing all the nonsensical stuff that is not even yielding any results within your business. All right. So the key to massively, and I've done this relentlessly, because I'm going to be talking about habits a little bit later on, because your actions become your habits. But if you want to leverage your productivity, your success and fulfillment, both at work and at home, it's not about putting in longer hours like we were told before, or maybe getting less sleep, or hustle, or pushing yourself a lot harder than you are right now, or maybe sacrificing, those activities that actually give you pleasure. Because we might think, if I write this email, or if I sit here and make all of these phone calls, maybe something will change. But maybe, what if you're actually killing yourself and not yielding any results? Have you actually stopped and measured, is this going to yield me or get me closer to the goals, that I'm reaching towards? Because you will achieve a whole lot more in a lot less time by applying, the 80-20 rule, which I've mentioned earlier on, which is the Pareto principle, or the law of the vital few and the trivial many. A lot of us, maximize time doing, useless stuff, okay? Maybe you're on social media commenting on everybody's post and, sending emojis and everything else, but none of that, drives traffic back to your website. So is that useful? Is that a good use of your time? I think not. Right, I've spoken about this before, and I practice this relentlessly, and I'm gonna just recap a little bit of my thoughts and what it is that I do, because ever since I started working from home, most people think, oh, I would have the freedom and I can do whatever I want whenever I want. But discipline is what makes you much more productive. Okay, right? See, it's quite funny. When I was going to school, we used to have, and if you're Zimbabwean, you would actually appreciate this, or if you're British, you'd appreciate this. We used to have what's called a school timetable. All right, so each lesson will be about 45 minutes long, and then you have to maybe switch classes or go to a lab or go to some place where you have to conduct the next lesson, right? So in between the first bell to say that the lessons have ended and the second bell to initiate the next set of lessons, it usually was a 5-minute window. So you had to maybe go from one side of school to another side of school in order for you to catch your class or go to the library, or otherwise you will probably be in what we called after school detention, okay, or punishment. Yes, we used to be beaten if if you were found on the wrong side of that 5-minute window. So the teacher on duty will be walking around and then will ask, hey son, hey daughter, where are you supposed to be? Where are you supposed to be? And that lesson has stuck with me at any given moment, so much that I actually schedule the time that I have to speak on this podcast. So every single day in my calendar at 12 p.m., there is a slot between 12 and 1 that says video/podcast. Now, if I don't do or record this podcast at that given moment, guess what happens? I've got 1 hour that no one is allowed to schedule anything in my calendar through any of the marketing that I'm doing, because it's taken off. No one can schedule anything during that hour slot. And now that I'm writing a book and I'm also incorporating, creating content for other businesses, I've also scheduled the 2 p.m. slot. 2 to 3 is now a slot for me to be writing books, e-books, and maybe doing my online prosperity show where I interview other professionals. So if I find myself between 11 and 12 not doing anything, my brain is already asking me, son, where are you supposed to be? What are you supposed to be doing? And a lot of us don't have that within our businesses. A lot of us don't have that structure within their day, because without structure, you know what happens? Some things just fall under the cracks and they're never completed, and you wonder where the day has gone just because you haven't scheduled your time and you haven't actually realized what do you need to be doing in order for you to reach your goals. I mean, this remarkably reliable guideline of the 80-20 rule changed how I live my life. Even my family sort of works around that. I could be in the house, but when the door closes, I'm working. And people know not to disturb me, because I joke around and say my kids are work trained. All right, which means they don't just walk up on a Zoom call or anything of that nature, because they have been taught and now have learned to sort of respect the space that happens to be the office. I mean, yes, it's okay, these days that we've gone into Zoom, but if you want to be productive, if you really want to be there for those kids, you better put in the work and you better schedule things that need to be done. Otherwise, those things don't get done. And now it's become a habit. I just woke up and I think, oh, wait a minute, what am I supposed to talk about today? If I don't have that in my calendar, I just look at what was the last call about. And it so happens to be my client was complaining that they don't have time to do certain things. And I'm like, show me your schedule. They didn't have one. And I told them, your schedule is exactly in direct proportion to the productivity that you have and to the success that you will receive. And I'm really hoping that they have learned and they're going to take, that to heart. This remarkably reliable guideline holds that 20% of your daily activities are responsible for 80% of your success. That 1 hour that I scheduled to do this podcast, right? And today is the 6th of June. Is that the 6th? No. The 10th of June, 2022. All right? And no matter when you're going to be listening to this podcast, I have frozen this time. And it's going to be set in stone unless somebody deletes it. And I'm not going to delete it. What's and all, automatically I've already produced for the day. So that's the 20% that will constitute 80% of you listening to this podcast at the time that is convenient to you. So 20% of your daily activities are responsible for 80% of your success, 80% of your income, 80% of your happiness. Because this podcast is scheduled, it is going to fly. It is going to be produced. It is going to be spoken. It is going to be distributed. Come hell or high water. And let me tell you something. This is where the biggest payoff is. When you figure out, what do I just need to do in order to tick off a day that it has been productive? Anything can happen pretty much after this. And once that happens, I know I've already done something that will yield, success for me in perpetuity. So let me tell you something. 20% of your activities, 20% of your relationships, 20% of your customers are causing 20% of either your wasted time, either your success, and either whatever it is that you call your business. Because some of your clients are just set and forget. They might show up once in a while and then they might just want to ask for their password or something like that. And you never hear back from them, but they're paying you. And then you've got those other people that are called squeaky wheels that are just always in your inbox, always in your messenger, always. And sometimes they're very difficult to pay, people like that as well. So figure out which of my 20% of my clients is yielding the most results, yielding the most happiness for me to have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. So the best way to multiply your productivity is simple. The best way to multiply your income is simple. The best way to multiply your happiness is simple. Always be looking to free up more time so you do more of the big payoff activities that are ruthlessly giving you and you're ruthlessly eliminating dozens of all the low payoff ones which you are unwittingly tolerating. You get what you tolerate. So if you eliminate 80% of all those things that are taking much of your time away, let me tell you something. You, my friend, will have a happier existence and you'll be a proud owner of a business that's profitable and enjoyable. Like I told you with the teacher that I mentioned earlier on, who would always ask me, son, where are you supposed to be right now? And I know of one of the most successful marketing people that I respect. They've got they keep a sign that is framed over his desk, and he carries an index card in his wallet with the same message. And the message, I'm going to part it on to you. I want you to listen very carefully. Stop whatever you're doing. Close the door and put the dog out or something like that. Are you ready? Are you ready to hear the most powerful statement that will change the rest of your life? Whenever you embark on anything, whenever you start talking to anyone, whenever you start reading anything, listening to anything, ask yourself, is this leading me to my main goal? Oh, I'll repeat that again. Is this leading me to my main goal? Because if you have that as a reminder on your phone that just pops up, it might just remind you when you may be sitting outside eating a Tim Tam. Is that leading you to your main goal of maybe having a healthy body? Is that leading you to your main goal of having a business that's profitable and enjoyable? This is personal. Right now, now you listening to this, is this leading you to your main goal? If it's not, shut it down. Shut it right now. And if it is, don't put the volume up because it might just hurt your ears. I got a crackling voice today. So, but at the end of the day, is this leading you to your main goal? Any given moment you embark on anything, talk to anyone, ask yourself this question. Is this leading me to my main goal? And let me tell you something. Whenever you are now going about your day, you're not going to be sitting around wasting time on phone calls, meetings, gossip, reading, social media, or, tinkering with things that are not your specialty. And you go back to relentlessly looking at things that are your massive payoff to yourself, to your family, to your business. Now, this is why a lot of people fail in life, because they haven't accepted what it is that they're actually really good at. And it's not their fault. It's not your fault. You know why? Because school wants you to amplify your the things that you're not good at. So if you're not good at math, you have to stay back and learn it. If you're not good at spelling, you have to stay back and learn it. What if we would actually celebrate the things that we are good at, and then we outsource everything else we're not good at? I kid you not, I'm not a good writer. And if you have read anything from me, yes, I might have spoken it, but I didn't write it. I outsource that to people that can do it cheaper, better, faster, and actually produce a better job than me trying to, put my ducks in a row and not be productive. I'm good at talking like this, even if English is not my first language, and maybe I don't know. I'm an R or whatever, or I run out of words because my brain is moving too fast, and then my mouth is trying to catch up. Because that's who I am. Is this leading me to my main goal? Me being on this podcast right now, even if it's not for you, I know somebody somewhere will raise up their hand and say, oh my God, this person is speaking to me. Prosper sat on his desk and he was talking to me. And I'm talking to you right now. If this podcast is not leading you to your main goal, stop listening right now. Thank you for having come this far. It's been a trip. So how do you then figure out what you're good at? What you need to do is put yourself on notice. Forget everything that you have ever been taught about who you are or where you are going. And for one day, start on a Monday. Mondays are usually good where you probably are more focused. Take note of all the things that you're doing within your business. Okay? Are you hiring staff? Are you managing staff? Are you balancing books? Are you driving growth? All of those things. Are you helping your clients? Are you solving people's problems? Everything that you're doing. Are you tinkering with your website? Are you writing copy? Take a note of all those things that you're doing on a Monday. Do that again on Tuesday. Do that again on Wednesday, taking note of just about everything that you're doing. And then up until Friday. And then the Monday after, this is what I want you to do. Take all of those notes and start looking for commonalities. All right? So you will notice that maybe marketing takes up a lot of your time. Okay? So that means marketing is an activity that you need to be doing consistently. All right? So note that down. And then you will notice some things like maybe balancing books is a once a week endeavor. All right? And then put a column that has got once a week endeavors, or maybe once a month activities. You will start noticing that your daily activities will probably be 2 or 3 things that need to be constantly done. And then start looking at what can you do even if you are not being paid for of those 3 activities. If it is you sitting, changing lives and solving people's problems, note that. And make sure that that thing becomes something that you're doing throughout, every single day. So give it an hour within your calendar. And I advise that you actually start working from your calendar and stop working from your phone or from your email. Because every email that you receive is just yet another person trying to give you their agenda. All right? You should actually start looking at how often are you looking at emails, and then specify a designated time. I only look at emails at 9 a.m. and at 3 p.m. So if an email comes in at 6 or whatever it is, it gets looked at tomorrow morning at 9. No matter how important it is, there is no emergencies in life. If somebody has an emergency, they'll pick up a phone and call you. All right? And then start scheduling your day. Start giving yourself a timetable. It might take a while for you to get used to it, but once you now know that between 9 and 10, I'm looking at my emails. Between 10 and 11, I'm doing my podcast. Between 11 and 12, I'm doing my marketing. 1 and 2, I'm having lunch. Between 3 and 4, I'm having calls with clients. Between 5 and 6, I'm wrapping up the day. You will start becoming very productive because each thing now has its own space. You are now, really working on the things that you absolutely love, and you can't wait to show up the next day to do the things that you absolutely love. And those things that you can't do by yourself, guess what? You find a VA that can do it for you. You find a software that can replace you, and you will start noticing that from then on, you start multiplying your productivity. You are there to answer every email at the time that you need to be answering them. You are there to do your podcast. You are there to speak to your clients. You are there to take any client calls. You are there to do any client work. Because you know what happens? You show up on your desk and then you just look at everything is a mess, and you're like, oh, I don't even know where to start. And then before you know it, somebody calls, and then you're like, oh yeah, something to do, and you're taken away. And where are you supposed to be? Son, where are you supposed to be? Daughter, where are you supposed to be? Is that phone call putting you where you're supposed to be? Is this leading you to your main goal? So you can now stop wasting, time on networking events that lead to nowhere, sitting on Zoom meetings that could have been an email, or gossiping with people, because half of the time we actually think we're being productive when we are actually, bringing ourselves down. It's super, super easy for you to actually take control of your day. And you too, my friend, will be amongst the upper echelons of people that have managed to multiply their productivity, their success, their income. And let me tell you something. If you know where you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to be doing, and you're achieving it, and you're ticking off the boxes, you will be happy. And you wonder why a lot of people have so much energy. You know why? Because I know as soon as I finish this, I'm going to reward myself for having done something that I was supposed to be doing. Listen, man, we all have 24 hours in a day. I spend 4 of those hours reading. You know why? Because that's my highest activity. That's the best I can bring to the table, especially when it comes to my team. Because the more I read, the more I educate myself on how to talk, how to connect with my clients, and how to actually be of value. And I made that happen. I started really looking at, am I good at websites? No. Am I really good even at SEO? I used to be, but the algorithm changed. Now, not as much, but I know the concepts. But what do I need to be doing in order to push the business forward? I need to learn how to deal with people. And that's exactly what I'm doing with the podcast. That's what I'm doing with the books. That's what I'm doing with the emails. That's what I'm doing, especially with just about everything that I'm doing in my business, and making sure my positive energy is out there. Did you just hear the guy who was speaking 5 seconds ago? Damn, that's me. So at the end of the day, don't be complaining that business is not working. Oh, I don't have time. Use the 80-20 rule, right? You will find that this technique becomes amazingly effective. It's like gaining yet another 6 or 8 hours of productivity for every 24 that you are dealt with. But be warned, Let me tell you something. Once you get addicted to this, you might disappear for a while, because you will notice that the things you were giving so much time and airtime to are things that never meant anything to you and were never, bringing you towards your goals. If there's anything from this podcast, I'm sorry I was yelling, but it's something that I'm really, really passionate about. And why am I apologizing? If you want to complain, write something to my team and we'll give you a refund for having listened to the best tips that you will get on the internet today. Is this leading you to your main goal? Are you where you're supposed to be right now? Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au